just reached Matt, and I missed him. Let's see. Yeah, I asked them to lock doors at 6:15 because I figured this would be a really quick one tonight. Normally I do it at 6:30. I wonder if he's with Jill.
Uh-huh.
He
Yep.
is. Awesome.
Matthew.
Been outside for like 15 minutes.
Hey, you're not here by 6, the doors are locked.
I texted Angela, then I sent her.
Yeah. I'll have to make a
I had
note.
I had a
of
professor
this.
in grad school that was like that.
If you were late, you locked the
It was
door.
like, time class started, he locked the door, and you'd stand at the door, and he's like, nope.
Okay, Spicoli.
That's right.
That's what I'm always thinking of. How you doing, Daryl?
Hey, man.
Good to see you, man.
Good.
Hello there.
I saw your mom. She's so
Oh,
charming.
did you meet her?
Yeah.
Told her to look for you.
Ready to roll?
Yeah,
All right. Everyone's here. Like to call to order the October 26, 2022 Apex Parks Recreation and Cultural Resources Advisory Commission meeting. First, we always start off with an invocation, so if everyone would take a moment of silence. Thank you. Next, we have the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of the
United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And
I know.
protocol, what have you, we always have those meeting minutes emailed to us, so trust that everyone's had a chance to review those, and we take a motion to approve those meetings.
Motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All right. Motion and properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Going from there, we'll jump right into the director's report.
Don't have anything to add at this point. We're about to jump right into the projects and operations report, so I'll let her touch base a little bit, Angela, touch base a little bit about the master plan update.
Okay.
Just the importance of being here as of November 30th for that meeting, because we're going through the master plan update, and so I would suggest being here. If you want your voice heard, that's a great moment for that to be heard, so
Is that gonna be a longer meeting? Should we-
Yes.
Okay,
very much so.
okay. That's-
So November
sounds fair.
30th, with McAdams is bringing the recommendations of the master plan forward. You all had a chance to earlier review some of the background summary findings, statistical valid survey results, and all that information. And so you will be seeing recommendations. I think if you've read our current master plan and you sort of saw things really set up as times and tasks, we took a holistic approach of more of a comprehensive plan that we would be able to work within boundaries. So you might not see a specific task such as add a basketball court at this park by 3 years. You'll see more of a how to accommodate sport court facilities and have them dispersed throughout town. So you'll see it as I would say you're up at 10,000 feet view to give us the ability to respond to trend changes and demand, as well as being able to use some new metrics that they're really working with us on establishing demand, need, how our programs are responding to registration, where we have higher levels of registrations and wait lists during the time frame of the beginning of the plan till the end of the plan. Because by the time we're at this stage in our plan, other than the maps, we're sort of falling off of those real high targets that we accomplished early years in the master plan. So we're hoping this will address some of that. From that date, the reason the 30th is so critical to us is because it turns around with some minor revisions that might come out of this meeting and goes to work session with the council on December 6th. And then the consultant will take it back, pull all of the big information changes that might be needed and present the package for full adoption either in January or February. So they'll be working through the holidays to get that final package in order. And so we have to have time to get it before council and then move it on, and then hopefully be able to use some of those things for our budget of July 2023 through June 24. So we don't want to delay something we considered, so we'd have more time, but we've been engaged with this since last September, so we've spent a lot of time. And I think we've got some good recommendations, and I think we've got some really good information. And you won't see it as much as a true recommendation, but we've done a Greenway prioritization scoring. It's a 2-part scoring system, one to do feasibility studies, and one, once we have a feasibility study, to move forward with design, development, construction, design, and funding request. And all the projects in our Greenway Network corridor that are not completed will be scored every year as we go into CIP and budget cycles. So as we move them forward with the goal that every year we'll be funding some aspect of all the Greenway system, whether it's 2 or 3 new feasibility studies and then funding of 1 or 2 projects every year. So that will work with council to continually fund.
Real quick question, sorry to interrupt. Does that also include like sidewalk connectivity gaps or street side greenways or paths that aren't like through the wood greenways, or?
So it
Is it
will
all pedestrian?
include greenways, traditional greenways that are on our map as proposed greenways. It will include street side greenways, which are under our purview. There is, as far as the second scoring segment, not the feasibility study, but for funding for design and construction, that scoring does include, are there alternate routes? It does not include something like people requesting gaps of those other facility types to be filled.
Okay.
Because planning through Jenna Schaus work on sidewalk and side path requests. We work together with them. And
Okay.
in a sense, a great example in my mind is Richardson Road south of Olive Chapel. Side path connects the neighborhoods, but there's a gap where the bridge crosses Beaver Creek. We have a greenway proposed to cross not paralleling the road, but not adjacent to it. For them, since the road is state-owned, it's easier for us to build a greenway farther away from the road than it would be for them to get a bridge crossing the creek near the road. And so prioritizing that north-south crossing of the creek, we would evaluate it together and determine whether or not, for some cases, it would be easier to do a road with a road project that's in process of design, or whether or not it's easier to do a greenway bridge away where it doesn't need to be a fully functional road-type bridge, but a pedestrian bridge in the woods. So yes, we work on that, but they have their scoring, we have our scoring, and then we work together to make sure those components happen.
Thank you.
Has there ever been, and if you don't know the answer, I don't expect you to, like a connectivity study between everything? I know there's the bike walk ped plan, but that's the latest one? Is that the closest thing?
So
I'm trying to think.
the bike plan that was our first bike plan, behind the scenes, we're constantly evaluating as a transportation team. So we do roads and all bike ped as a unit of our engineers, planners, and Parks and Rec. So we meet on that monthly.
Okay.
The study does sort of incorporated that concept that's out there of the 10-minute walk.
Sure.
But that really has, in planning professional opinion, is a hard metric in a very suburban to rural type development pattern that we have. So, because it's not really a consistent measurement of,
But no, that answered my question of you guys are having those conversations,
Yes.
because that leads into a lot of other questions.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
They've been heavily involved with the prioritization too,
yeah.
Okay.
and how to score those. So,
Right, that's the key, right? Like, just that example of Richardson Road, the perfect example, right? Like,
Right.
we want to create that connectivity, so I love it. But I agree with you, the 10-minute walk to a park, while it's great, is challenging.
Well, that, and when you did our study and we found out that like 89% of our population drives to a park, that's within 5 minutes. And so, it's not because we have parking and it's not a need,
Sure.
so.
To go work out.
So that's what we've got. I was thinking there was something else related to the prioritization, but
That's helpful.
I think it's a good metric. We're learning some things from how they've done the sidewalk program for the last 2 to 3 years of that. Council did see the prioritization as well. You guys saw the draft, it's been updated, revised since then. And they're testing now to see how the corridors that have been identified in the past. So the last 2 years during the budget cycle, residents come in and request greenway connections, and those pieces have been brought. We've identified 10 of those, and they're testing that against the formula to see how they rank. One of the things it does measure is public input, so, but it measures the number of people, and that doesn't weight very high to the other criteria. So yes, it's there, but the idea being is if a neighborhood of 50 people got 110, a petition from 110 people, but it serves 50, and then we have a corridor that has 2 people that submit information, but it serves 5,000 and connects to parks. The metric of involvement is we acknowledge that involvement and appreciate it and want to know those things, but we have to look at how that dollar per dollar expenditure, if we don't have a lot, goes to meeting the need of the most people or people who don't have any other access to other things. So we do have socioeconomic metrics in there as well. So if they qualify under the census areas of population that need or that are at risk, then they're included in a higher scoring area as well. So we tried to cover the gamut. Anything?
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Nothing under the program report or the chairman's report. Alan did reach out and encourage me for today's meeting since he couldn't be here. Any public comment? Doesn't look like it. No old business. And then under new business, just discussing possible motion of canceling the December 28th meeting.
So typically, we would combine the November-December meeting, but since we're meeting in November, we're essentially just requesting the December meeting be canceled, and then we roll right into January. So pretty much that's the gist of what the recommendation that we're making for is. So,
Make a motion to cancel the December 28th Parks and Recreation meeting.
It's been motioned and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion approved. Next motion is to,
I'll be out of town that week anyway, so
yeah.
I think everybody else will be.
Right. Next item of business for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Right.
Second.
Motion and approve, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Try to get some kind of schedule, like if we get,
we're gonna do a schedule.
yeah, I mean, if,
But, and I literally.
not that I don't love coming and hanging out with you, but it makes sense, right? But we talked earlier on about,
I don't think he was here when.
When I was late?
yeah, when you were late. So when you were late, when Jeff was late,
Because I was waiting for the door to unlock.
if we got an upcoming meeting and there is nothing on the agenda, just push, move it to the
Yeah, because you guys
next
know
month.
pretty far ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
we know about Wednesday.
From a project standpoint.
We know about Wednesday of the week before whether or not we're gonna have projects.
When you
Is there anything in like the town's bylaws or whatever that says we have to have a meeting so there's public comment?